Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I'd do a video about going from one dog to two dogs. One dog to two dogs. This was my dog and then I've got this one now. And everyone always asks me, how was it going from one to two? So I just thought I'd do a little informative video all about that. So firstly, if you're new here, let me give you a little potted history of my journey with a dog. So back in December 2019, before the pandemic, I got Ava, who is the love of my life. She's my absolute princess, my baby, my best friend. And I know some of you non-dog people are probably vomiting right now. Actually, if you're a non-dog person, then why are you even watching this video? Anyway, I got Ava in December 2019 and instantly fell in love. She became my whole world. She still is my whole world. And Ava is a Sprocker Spaniel, which is half Springer, half Cocker. But in 2022, I met my partner and he also had a dog as well. This is Fen, not Finn, F-I-N. Everyone calls them Eva and Finn, and I'm like, no, it's Ava and Fen. Anyway, he's an Italian greyhound and he's very cute. Also very naughty. He looks angelic right now, but he's not. And I'll come on to that later. Go have a nap. So that was quite a challenge. I have been someone who, I absolutely adore dogs. I've always had dogs growing up, but we've only ever had one at a time. And I've never had the desire to have two dogs or more. I've always been like, no, I just want to give my love to this one thing. Of course, the temptation comes because I see dogs that need rehoming on the internet and I'm like, maybe I could get two, but I would have never gotten two dogs were it not for the fact that my partner had a dog and we sort of accidentally become a two-dog household. So what I'm going to do is start with some of the cons with having two dogs because I think that's what people are clicking on this video for. You want to know, is there any downsides? Or maybe your partner has been like, we're not getting a dog because there's so many downsides and you want me to convince your partner to allow you to get another dog. So I will come on to the pros of it, but I will start with all the cons. And there's not a huge amount. I've got like 4 or 5. But before I get into this video, please click subscribe if you're new here. I post videos every single week about my life, about everything, all sorts of things. Dogs, I don't know. Just subscribe. It's free. You can always unsubscribe down the line. So the first one is quite an obvious one, but is cost. It's something that you really, really need to think about before you get a second dog. Now, for me and my partner, it's not as much of an issue because he takes responsibility of the cost of his dog, Fen, and I take responsibility of the cost of my dog, Ava. However, it is something to take into account because basically the cost doubles. There's not really a saving. I think some people go, oh, but maybe, you could buy more food and therefore it's cheaper because you can buy it in bulk. Maybe a little bit, but essentially the costs double. The vet's fees double. The pet insurance doubles. So that is something to bear in mind. It's literally doubling the cost. I did a video years ago. I think I've now deleted it actually. It was the cost of owning a dog in like the year 2020 or something. And I calculated how much it was. And I think I was spending £70 a month on Ava. That only goes up every year because her vet's costs go, well, her pet insurance goes up basically. The older the dogs get, the more insurance you pay every month because the more likelihood of them getting ill. And we've had a cost of living crisis since. So I would hazard a guess that I spend maybe £90 a month now on Ava. And that's if nothing goes wrong with her. Whereas if she's at the vet, then I do have insurance, but there's excess that I have to pay. Anyway, the cost goes up. You get the picture. The next one is something that you might not think about, but the dirt. The house gets twice as dirty. Again, everything is doubling, guys. And I don't think people think enough about the increase in dirt. We have a cleaner that comes to our house every single week. Within days, the house, well, not even days, within hours, like the next day, the house is dirty because you take them for a walk. They're getting mucky, they're dropping hair. It also does depend on the breed. So my partner's noticed it because I moved into his house and because my dog Ava drops more hair than his dog Fen because he's short haired. He's noticed it way more. He's like, the house is so dirty since Ava's moved in because she just drops black hair everywhere. Whereas with Fen, he's slightly less dirty. But yeah, that is something that I think people don't really account for. We have to hoover every single day. I mean, it probably depends on your cleanliness levels. I'm sure some people could leave it, but I hate seeing dog hair on the floor. I have to hoover it up. So just be prepared to do a bit more vacuuming, a bit more cleaning if you get a second dog. The next one, travel is a lot harder. It's one thing to ask a friend or family member to look after one dog. It's a whole other ballgame to get them to look after two, especially if they already have dogs. We've got an amazing friend of ours who already has 2 dogs and occasionally looks after our 2. So she's dealing with 4 dogs at once, and she's like, it is absolutely mental. We have other friends who might have one dog, so adding another dog into the equation is like a push. Adding two is like, oh no, we can't do that, sorry. So it is quite a lot to ask of people to look after the dog. Obviously as well, the cost goes up, so we do like to pay people that look after our dogs. If you put your dogs into kennels, we have never put our dogs into kennels. It's not something I personally would do. I've worked in kennels when I was a teenager and didn't think they were treated very nicely, and it's put me off kennels for life. You never know how they're treating your dog. I'm sure there are reputable good ones out there, but whether you put them into kennels or if you're paying a friend or family member, the cost is going to go up. Even if your friend or family member is doing you a favor and doing it for free, again, they're probably more likely to say no when it's two dogs, especially two crazy dogs like ours. Also, just as I'm editing this, I'm also realizing, like, if you were to stay in a dog-friendly hotel, lots of those hotels say, yes, you can bring your dog, but just one, because we've stayed in dog hotels and we've had to sneak the other one in without them knowing. So that makes it harder. So just be aware of that. Maybe before you get a second dog, ask around, ask the person that looks after your dog if they'd be willing to look after a second one. You don't want to suddenly lose out on dog sitters just because you got two dogs. The next one, which again, people don't really think about, is play fighting. These two play fight almost constantly. They're 4 and 3, so they're not even that young. I mean, they are young, but they're not puppies. The play fighting, it's cute. It is cute. I will give it, this is a pro and a con. It is very cute to watch them play fighting and like enjoying themselves, but it gets so annoying when you're just sat there, you know, watching TV and then they just suddenly go and like they're scrambling and like play fighting, running around, having to split them up. I mean, you probably think I'm a bit of a Scrooge. I'm not. I love them playing, but you know when it just takes you by surprise, or you're on a call and suddenly they start playing and you're like, I need you to stop being noisy right now. Whereas when I had Ava just by herself, she's never been like that. We would play with her, but she would never like be noisy and when she plays, whereas now it's chaos when they start playing. Also, the next con is that you just don't know the personality types. So we've been very, very lucky that these two have got along very well. It has been sort of one-sided for a bit. So my dog Ava is very much a people's dog. She loves human beings. She likes other dogs, but not that much. She prefers humans. Fen is the opposite. He is a dog's dog. He loves dogs more than anything in the world, even humans. He doesn't really, he likes humans, but prefers dogs. Because of that, Fen instantly bonded with Ava, loved her so much. And Ava was a bit like, ugh, this is a bit much. They had quite a few scraps where Ava would tell him off and like put him in his place, which they need to do because they need to sort out the hierarchy because she is definitely the boss. But it could easily go wrong. There's been countless stories of people that I know that have got dogs, or I say people I know, some people I know in real life, or like articles online where people have had to give up their second dog because they've welcomed a second dog into their home. It's upset the older dog, the one who's been around longest, and it's just not worked out. So that is a risk that you're going to have to take. Just because you decide, right, I'm going to get a second dog, does not mean that it's going to go all happy and happy families. Do you know what I mean? It's down to the character of the dog. The other downside is, for me, my dog, Ava, she does have some bad qualities, but ultimately she's very well behaved. She's the happiest dog in the world. She's very much listens to me because she's a human dog. She listens to me most of the time. And, you know, her negative qualities, she pulls on the lead and she likes to bark if she sees people outside. That's her bad qualities. Other than that, she's very well trained. She'll come back to me when she's off the lead. She'll listen to me. If I tell her off, she'll stop whatever she's doing. She's very good. Fen, on the other hand, is a terror. He looked sweet. He's not. He's been so hard for me to get used to having not just a second dog, but a second naughty dog. He'll run away, won't come back. He'll be chasing cows, chasing bikes, chasing people, won't listen, won't come back to me. He also gets possessive over food and treats. So I go to take a treat or a ball or something away from him and he'll snap and try and bite me. I'm not used to that with Ava. She's not possessive over anything. If I tell her to drop something, she drops it immediately. So I've had to get used to these different characters, different dog, and I've had to get used to training him. Now that is not so much an issue if you're getting a dog from a puppy or something like that. But if you're moving in with a partner who also has a dog like I did, I don't know what that dog's history of training is like. I don't know what his behavior is like until I'm sort of in the relationship. And also if you're adopting a dog from a shelter, you don't know what their upbringing has been. You don't know what their training's been like. So it is hard. I've tried to train Fen. a little bit. It has been a bit harder because he is slightly older. When I met him, he wasn't exactly a puppy, but he's definitely gotten better, and he's definitely gotten a bit better behaved. He comes back now. He's a bit less possessive, still a little bit, but basically I've had to like start from scratch training another dog, and part of me didn't think that would be the case because he wasn't, he was a teenage dog when I met him. So just know that even if you adopt a dog that's slightly older, you don't know what their training's been like. You don't know their standard, or, you don't know what their baggage they've come with, basically. So yeah, that's something to be aware of. Now, I feel like I've been very negative there. So let's talk about some positives. They're the negatives that I have thought of and that aren't too cliche when you see these videos, apart from cost. Everyone bangs on about cost, which is a legitimate factor. But the good things, like the play fighting, is also so cute. They love each other so much. They sleep on top of each other. My camera roll is just filled with videos and photos of them sleeping on top of each other. And I love that they've got each other. They've got companions. Even though Ava was completely fine on her own, she's dreaming, she's sleeping. Even though Ava was completely fine by herself, I think she is a bit happier now because when I'm not around, when she's home alone, she's got another dog to play with. So that is really, really cute. My partner has also noticed that Fen has become a lot more affectionate since Ava has been on the scene. He wouldn't really give you any kisses on your face. As I said, he's more of a dog's dog, not a people dog. Now, as you saw, he likes being cradled like a baby. He will give me kisses in the morning. Not many. He'll stick to like 3 or 4 and then he's done. Whereas Ava will constantly, kiss me. She loves kissing me. He's also, I think, learnt from Ava. So I think the reason he's become a bit better behaved, is yes, because I've tried to do a bit of training with him, but it's because he's watched Ava and gone, oh, that's how I should be behaving. So that is very cute. Also, if you're like me and you love dogs, the more the better. And I say I never wanted to be in a 2-dog household. Now, I feel like it would be hard to go back to a 1-dog household when these two pass away. Please don't die. When these two eventually do die, which will be devastating. I don't want to think about that. I think I will want not just 1 dog, but 2, because I've gotten used to it. When I initially started walking them, it felt really weird and foreign to like have a lead on each hand. And I was like, how am I supposed to keep control? Whereas now it's just second nature. So you do get used to it. And now I'm like, it is just so cute having 2 dogs. They've got different personalities, which I find really cute. They complement each other. Oh, that's another negative. Sorry, this is jumping over the place, but they get very jealous of each other. So if one of them's having a cuddle, the other one needs a cuddle as well. And they'll bash the other one out of the way and try and, usurp the other one. So yeah, they do get jealous of each other, but it doesn't result in fights. They don't fight at all anymore, really. They might, if one of them is not, well, usually it's if Ava is not in the mood to play, she'll put him in his place, but they used to fight over toys and things because they weren't used to sharing. They're both from single child homes, so they weren't used to sharing. So that was another negative. But anyway, I feel like the negatives are more important than the positives, to be honest, with a video like this. If you've clicked on this, you might just be watching it just for fun, which, cool, thanks for being here. You might have clicked on this because you genuinely want to know, like, are there any downsides? The chances are you're going, I want a second dog, and you know all the pros of having a second dog. The more dogs, the better. But the negatives are probably more important, just so you're aware of what you're getting into. So with that in mind, you can tell I haven't really planned this video very well. It was going to be so organized, like the cons and then the pros. But let's flick back to another con. When one of them dies, it's going to be devastating. And you hear those stories of when there's 2 dogs, when one dies, the other one dies fairly quickly afterwards because they're so heartbroken. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's true or if that's an old wives' tale, but it does make me think that when one of them goes, the other one is going to really notice that and be devastated, particularly if Ava goes first, which she, based on age, will, but I know that's not how life works. That might not happen because Fen, being a dog's dog, I think he's gotten so used to having a sister that he will be absolutely devastated because he's obsessed with her. He loves her. Whereas Ava loves me more than she loves Fen. And so I think she might be okay if he was to die first. This is so morbid, but it's things you've got to think about. What happens when one of them dies sooner than the other? Are you setting yourself into a trap where you're just constantly getting, like, one dog dies, so then you like get another new dog, and then that one dies, and then you get another one? If you want to be on that conveyor belt, go for it. But if you don't, it might be quite hard. You might have to embrace the fact that when one dies, you're going to have to like deal with a lonely dog, which breaks my heart to think of a dog being lonely. But yeah, anyway, I will wrap this up here. Let me know if you found this at all helpful. I feel like, as I said, it's a question that I get quite a lot, and it's just easier to make a video so I can point people to it and say, yeah, watch this video, because I get DMs all the time going, oh, how is it having 2 dogs? I'm thinking of getting a second. My partner doesn't want to, but I want to. Like, what are some of the things we should be aware of? So I hope this was helpful. If you've got 2 dogs or more, leave comments down below. Let me know how it is. Also, let me know how it is going from 2 to 3. I'm sure it's even worse than what I've said just now, because yeah, I don't think I'd ever go to 3, but we nearly did adopt. Well, I say we nearly did. We didn't. I nearly did. My partner was like, absolutely not. But yeah, let me know in the comments whether you found this helpful. If you have any tips for people that are thinking of getting a second dog, things to be aware of that I might have missed. Please subscribe if you're new here. I post videos every single week, and I will see you next time for another video. Bye.